I've had problems with my Wi-Fi today. Internet. I don't use Wi-Fi in my office. So apologies if I keep dropping out. I'm back from my holiday and I have been for about a week. But I had post-exertional malaise and then I had work to catch up with. And to be perfectly honest, I've had a bit of a life reset. So I'm not getting frazzled, not pushing myself too hard. Because I just realise there's more to life than work, rest, work, rest, work, rest. Thank you to all the people that kept saying for months, Sally, you're doing too much. I'm really worried that you're going to push yourself too hard. And in all honesty, I do pace a lot. And I do always put my ME first. However, because we've had the welfare cuts fiasco and lots of other bits and bobs going on behind the scenes, I've kind of been pushing it a little bit too far. So yes, so I've reined everything back in again now. I'm being sensible. So little and often is how I'm getting stuff done. So the reason I'm doing this video today is since I got back off holiday, I've been very aware of a little bit of infighting going on between researchers, between people with ME and long COVID on social media. And let me just say from the outset, I no longer get involved with it anymore. Between 2020 and 2023, I got incredibly stressed and defensive and felt like I was mediating quite a bit. So I took the active business decision to make sure that everything I do relates to ME. And in terms of long COVID, what that means is I represent anyone who meets the diagnostic criteria for myalgic encephalomyelitis, whatever the trigger. So if that means that you have had your ME triggered by COVID, everything I do is inclusive of you. That doesn't mean to say that, I don't want anything to do with anyone else that's under that long COVID umbrella. It's said with a realism that, I think that's what I meant to say, that there are many different presentations of long COVID, and I have no idea about any other presentation of long COVID. I don't know anything about PANS pandas. I don't know anything about the psychosis it causes. I don't know anything about the health problems it causes. I'm an ME expert. So if you present with long COVID that meets the diagnostic criteria for ME, I represent you. Now, I need to say that because some of this infighting that's been said in recent weeks is ME is not long COVID. Long COVID is not ME. How dare you say that because we meet the diagnostic criteria, all of ME is long COVID? This hasn't been said to me. This has been said to other people on social media. And there's been lots of people clarifying what they mean and biology stuff that I don't understand. I've been an advocate for 11 years now, and a lot of the biology talk goes over my head. Just because I'm an ME expert, that doesn't mean I claim to be an ME scientist. I don't. And there's been, so much anger. And I'm kind of 2 years past that now. We seem to be in a cycle of the same things are being said in cycles. As new people become chronically sick, they say exactly the same stuff that people that became sick in 2020 were talking about. And I can't keep taking it over and over and over and over again. So, I don't know anything about how the other illnesses represented by that long COVID umbrella present. I've got no idea. I am not an expert on long COVID. I'm an expert on ME. And the reason for this video, sorry, I'll get there in a minute. I have a point, is for all the people that say stop including long COVID in advocacy work, stop including long COVID in ME research. And for, I don't get much of it now, but in the past I used to get, how dare you include long COVID in your blog? Not all of us have ME. It's like, I know that. If you read the blog, you would understand what my position is on that. But for the number of people that say that, there is an equal number of people sending me emails, direct messages, all lovely, polite, professional, and they say, you're doing fantastic work on ME. Well done. Awesome. Amazing. But can I ask why you are not including long COVID? Or why you haven't included long COVID? Or why you haven't done exactly the same freedom of information request for long COVID? Right. So case in point, the freedom of information request that I did for Stripey Light Bulb about the work capability assessment training that the DWP is doing. So I did all the work. I did a blog. I did YouTube clips. I wrote to government. I wrote to every single agency, organisation, professional I could possibly think of. And yes, that includes journalists. Like literally, that was my concentrated project for weeks. And then the DM started. Why haven't you included long COVID? And I said, because anyone with long COVID that meets the diagnostic criteria for ME will be given an ME CFS diagnosis. And as such, the DWP will use assessors that have done the ME WCA training, right? So whether they still class themselves as long COVID or not, that training will apply to them. The reason I haven't contacted DWP freedom of information request about long COVID is I am assuming, it's a big assumption to make, but I'm assuming that all that training will say is there are lots of different presentations of long COVID. If they meet the diagnostic criteria for ME, use the ME training. If it meets criteria for X, Y, Z, you need to do the training for those subsets of long COVID. I do not believe there is training specifically for the umbrella term that is long COVID. I can't remember the lady's name now, but the woman that actually, the Italian woman that came up with the term long COVID has more than 1,000 times said that when she created the term long COVID, it was to incorporate anyone that had lingering symptoms from the COVID-19 infection. It was not the name of a new disease. So because I've spoken to that person many times on social media, we've got a good rapport, etc., etc. In fact, I don't think I've spoken to her for the last year, just because that side of my advocacy has died down now, because there are thousands of long COVID advocates. You don't need me to split my time between the two. So I've spoken to her many times, and my opinion on the term long COVID is the same as hers. And she created the term. So it's a really strange place to be. You've got so many different viewpoints on whether to include long COVID with ME or ME with long COVID. Some are for, some are against, some are, well, I am for, but not in terms of this. And it's like, you just cannot please everybody. So that's why I'm like, right then, I am ME, solely ME, but obviously my training talks about comorbidities and talks about how there are many people under the long COVID umbrella that meet the diagnostic criteria for ME. But let's be frank, there are some that are now talking about ME, not as one disease, but as an umbrella term for many different subsets of ME. We haven't got there with the research yet, but that is a hypothesis. So I don't then want to be talking about two very wide umbrella terms that nobody actually knows the strict definition of each of those no. We're never going to get anywhere if we do that. So I'll wait for the research to catch up with what all these hypotheses are. In the meantime, I am ME and ME only. Because let's face it, ME is a massively underrepresented, underfunded, misunderstood disease. If I split my time, my energy and my efforts too thinly, I won't make any progress with anything. So that's why I am sticking to ME. It's not for me to talk about scientific discoveries and stuff because I am not a scientist. So I keep my eyes peeled for long COVID research that has overlapped with ME, and then I might share it or talk about it or whatever. And obviously, as an advocate of a chronic illness, I am supportive of the long COVID community, but I am not an active member, even though I've got long COVID myself. But long COVID in me is worsened mast cell activation syndrome, worsened fibromyalgia, and worsened ME, and worsened hypermobility syndrome, possibly EDS, don't know yet. So this is why I will not get dragged into these arguments anymore, and why on Twitter, X, the other day I said, I would recommend that anyone with ME do not get involved with these arguments. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't progress our community. It doesn't progress anything. It wastes your energy. It wastes my energy because it's cyclic. Give it 3 months and the same arguments will be had all over again. I learned that 2 years ago, so I don't engage with it anymore. But like I say, that does not mean I'm not supportive of people with long COVID, but I am an ME campaigner. Both of my organisations are for the benefit of the ME community. Right then, now I've got that out of the way. The other thing, because I've got so much stuff on my plate, forgive me if I forget to share stuff and say, please, can you sign this? If you ever see my petition, it's a collaboratively written petition with Voices Advocate, which are a Welsh unpaid carers charity. We are literally calling for Stephen Timms to be replaced as the disability minister. Because to be perfectly frank, the disabled community as a whole, chronically sick and disabled community as a whole, has been going through an absolute bloody nightmare now since Labour got into power. And we have absolutely no way of holding the government to account in terms of a disabilities minister, because most of our problems are due to the welfare state. And Stephen Timms has got a humongous conflict of interest because he is Secretary of State Social Security Minister and Disability Minister. So you can't go to him with an issue about disabled people and ask him to detach his head. Because in the old days, what I used to do was contact Vicky Foxcroft, who was Shadow Disability Minister. She would go into Parliament and raise questions in Parliament for the Disability Minister to Minister for Disabled People, however the term is said, sorry, my brain, would ask them to answer questions that I'd raised, that other organisations had raised. But now we are literally being asked to ask Stephen Timms to go into Parliament and ask himself questions about disability benefits. I do not doubt that this was planned deliberately by Keir Starmer and the rest of the cabinet, because it puts us in an incredibly difficult position. We've got no way, I personally have no way to raise questions in Parliament, because my own MP, Stephen Morgan, has also tabled questions for me before, but now he's a front bencher. They're not allowed to table questions. And I have... I think I've said this before. I had very good relationships with about 5 or 6 MPs up until the general election. Half of those lost their seats, so I've lost those connections. 2 are now front benchers. And then there's the disability minister, who is not fit for purpose. So I have sent a lot of emails to a lot of MPs in the past 6 months and said, please, can you table these questions for me? Please, can I talk to you about this issue? Please don't think that I haven't been doing that, because I haven't had any success, but I've been trying. I think sometimes if it's not there in your face, oh, she says she's done that, oh, well done her. It's like, times my success by 50 and you'll have some kind of idea of how many times I try different things, but they just don't come off. Yeah, and then you've got the parliamentary champions for the APPG. They tend to only do stuff for the people that are part of the APPG. I'm nothing to do with the APPG. So I'm reaching outside of that to see if I can get other MPs interested. And for those people that have read my blog about the WCA training and are thinking, why has she contacted the APPG for disability rather than the APPG for ME? Now, I didn't want to make a big thing of this, but I'm sure that there are some people out there wondering. It's because we all know anecdotally the big, and I'm talking the big national charities, Action for ME, ME Association, have links, historic and rumours of current links to Back Me. So in my mind, why would I go to the APPG of ME to complain that the DWP has worked with Back Me to create the training and it's against the NICE guideline? That would make no sense. Doesn't make any sense. So that's why I've gone to the APPG in disability and said, did you know that the Department for Health and Social Care say, we want to implement the NICE guidelines, that's the way forward. DWP have included the NICE guideline, but they've also said, actually, Back Me says, do this instead. And ME is a psychosomatic illness. And so that's why this is a cross-governmental issue that needs to be resolved. Because just on face value, even if I wasn't an ME advocate, if I was an outsider, I'd go, all right, Department of Health and Social Care say NICE is the way forward, ME is not psychosomatic. But Department for Work and Pensions will only give people benefits by assessors who've done this training, and this training says that it is psychosomatic, and that if someone believes their illness is biological, then that's going to give them a worse prognosis or worse outcomes, which is the direct opposite. Literally, I think it's page 14, 15, they've got the NICE guideline followed by what Back Me says, which is the complete opposite. Anyway, so I have been contacted by a few smaller charities saying, can they collaborate with me? Well done on the work that I've done. But as I've said to them, I've kind of done as much as I humanly can. Every single connection I've ever made for the past 11 years, and there's a lot, have all been contacted. And now, obviously, because it's summer holidays, I'm waiting for them all to get back to me. But the woman that created the training has got in touch. She wants to have a meeting, so that's good. Yeah, so it's all systems go. And I had a little bit of interest from national journalists. It's just, again, summer holidays. So hopefully, but yeah, every single person I could possibly think of, and that's a lot of people. But if I get to the next stage and collaboration would benefit getting stuff done, then yes, I'm getting back in touch with those people, and they know that. So thank you for getting in touch with me. Just everything just went a bit nuts for a bit, and now I'm kind of right. Then let's get back to basics. But yeah, at the moment we've got as I've just mentioned, the petition to get Stephen Timms replaced as Disabilities Minister. That is really important, and I'm gobsmacked that only 8,500 people have signed it. There's millions of people with disabilities in this country. So if you see it, please share it. It's on the front page of emmyfoggydog.org on Foggy's Blackboard. Please share all of your WhatsApp groups, ME groups, disability groups that you're part of. Please share it, because at the moment it looks like only 8,500 people are bothered. It's been going for 2 months, 3 months, something like that. And yet, on the day that those debates were happening, so many livid people on social media that Stephen Timms is Disabilities Minister. Well, sign the petition, please. Share it, sign it. What was the other thing? Oh, and the WCA thing. Just keep your eyes peeled on that. I've got no news at the moment other than people now know that this is an issue. So, yeah, work in progress. And it does, I get slightly, not upset is too strong a word, when I see people saying, oh, no one cared about WCA, LCWRA. There's more of a fuss made about PIP going. It's like, that's because I've literally still got the key asks of parliamentary policy from the DBC group I'm part of, and 2 of those relate to WCA. So even if we weren't publicly tweeting lots about it, hell of a lot of work was going on in the background. Opposed WCA reassessments and face-to-face PIP assessments. Scrap the universal credit health element cuts. All of this was being worked on. But the reason PIP was concentrated on is because journalists can be a bit dense and not understand benefits, same as MPs. And it's a lot easier if you've got something catchy like PIP. Disabled people are on PIP. Even then they got it wrong, didn't they, about there being an out of work benefit? It's not an out of work benefit. So we had to keep it as basic as possible to get as much engagement with the media as possible, while in the private, away from media, that's where the hard slog went on with WCA and all the rest of it. And that's why I submitted my freedom of information request, because of all the conversations that were being had about training and this and that. And I was just like, hang on, that doesn't add up. And I'm glad, because sitting in on those meetings was the only way that I knew that was going on. So, yeah. So I know I was saying, I need to cut back on the amount of meetings that I'm sat in on, but I'm really, really glad that I didn't cut back on that. And I'm continuing being part of the Health Transformation Programme, ongoing DWP work. I'm not allowed to talk about what is said in the meetings, but I was told if you want to know anything about that, you have to do a freedom of information request. So I did. And then I can tell you all about that. Anyway, I'm going now. Just a quick catch up, really. I am still alive and kicking. I have massively taken my foot off the pedal, though. And I'm getting a better work-life balance. So hopefully you'll see that. Because I won't frantically be rushing from one to the other. It'll just be a bit more slowly. But yeah, so hello to all my followers. Please do follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, please. You can contact me anytime through the website, emmyfoggydog.org. As I blogged about and tweeted and Facebooked about the other day, I am in that headspace now when I want to start thinking about what to do with Emmy Foggy Dog again, because Foggy is no longer a globe-trotting adventurer because it got far too expensive to do that kind of fundraising. I am going to do fundraising with Bed for Severe ME. If you don't know what that is, check out the website, emmyfoggydog.org. All the information you need about Bed for Severe ME is on there. Now that there's a spider. I don't know if you can see it. It's dangling. It's coming down from the ceiling. It's only small, but it's still a spider. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? It's there. Oh no, you can't. Hang on. Oh, you can't see it. It's there. Oh, it's nearly on my mouse mat. Go away. It's stripy. It's a stripy spider. Anyway. Been in the garden, I have quite a few insects in it, and so occasionally they get a bit too close. Anyway, I'm going now. On that note, check out Bed for Severe ME. Now that all the hardcore political stuff has died down until I get responses, I'm going to be promoting it a lot more. But there are badges. Buy yours today and make that campaign visible. Make severe ME, people living with severe ME visible. Anyway, lots of love. I'm going to move my mouse about the spider being attached. Catch you later.